Sarah Michelle Gellar is one of the few Hollywood actresses that I actually like, and it's not just because I grew up watching Buffy the Vampire Slayer, although maybe it is.
Hello? Ripped out the heart? My God. Hey, did you get that physics class you wanted?
So, Giles, got anything that could make this day any worse?
How about the end of the world?
Knew I could count on you.
But I like that she keeps a very low profile. She's very low key, very down to earth, and she never engages in any of the ridiculous behavior that you see from some of these Hollywood actors. Like, she's very respectable, very private. She recently did an interview because she's been doing the new Dexter show, Dexter Original Sin. But she was interviewed about her marriage to Freddie Prinze Jr. They have been married for 22 years now, which is like a big thing for Hollywood.
Out of all these people, who are you guys happy, excited to see the most?
This one right here. You make it work. Is it tough?
It's the easiest thing. I always tell people, you know when you meet the right person because it's just easy. He's my best friend and the communication is always there and we support each other no matter what.
That's very rare for Hollywood marriages. And she recently gave an interview and she talked about how marriages should last, and she blamed the modern societal values for the decline of long-lasting relationships. So she said, I think everything takes work in you, whether it's a friendship or a work relationship or a marriage. You have to put the work in, and we live in an extremely disposable society now. And that is so true. We've talked about this before on the channel, and that's why I thought this was interesting. She said, your phone breaks, you don't fix it, you get a new one. And I think that's a lot of the attitude toward relationships. Yes, people view each other as disposable and they think that there's always something better, or that the grass is always greener on the other side. And then they realize that that's not the case, and the same issues they had in their prior relationship, you're going to have in any other relationship because they all take work. She says, I don't know, maybe separate bathrooms helps. I can agree with that. So she met her husband back in 1997. She met Freddie Prinze Jr. when they were filming the movie I Know What You Did Last Summer, and they didn't start dating until 3 years later in 2000. They got engaged a year later, and then they got married when she was just 24 and he was 26. So before they got married, Freddie Prinze Jr. went on the Howard Stern show. For young people, you may not know what that is, but it was like a big radio program back in the day in the 90s, early 2000s. And of course, Howard Stern is a very gross individual, so he made a bet. I think he bet like $1 million or something that their marriage wouldn't last. He's like, oh, so you're going to marry Sarah Michelle Gellar, even though you know that won't last. And Freddie Prinze Jr. said, absolutely, it will last. And he goes, oh, I'll make a bet with you. In about 10 years, you're going to hunt me down and say, Howard, I owe you money. And of course, that didn't happen. They have now been married for 22 years, so he lost that bet. And technically, he owes them $1 million. So she went on to say that communication was the key to her successful marriage. She says it's about being present. Listening is the most important thing. I tend to agree, and not just with marriages, but in all relationships. She says, we still make each other laugh and we treat each other with respect. And then Freddie Prinze said that after he and Sarah had their first kiss, he didn't talk to any other women. He didn't go on any other dates. It was just all about Sarah for him from then on out. And I thought that was very sweet. They've done other films together. They did Scooby-Doo, the Scooby-Doo movies together, and they have 2 children together. So they have, their marriage has lasted quite a long time. Now, she talked about how things are different than they were in the 90s. She says, I think with the advent of social media and everybody having a camera phone, I think that you had a lot more anonymity, which at times makes storytelling easier because people didn't know so much about your every move or even your show. I agree. And the shows were different back in the 90s. I mean, they had bigger budgets for these shows, and they had these seasons with like, this was before streaming, where you get like 22 episode seasons and more storytelling, more world building. And now with these streaming services, you get maybe like 8 episodes per season. So it's just very different. She says it's hard to keep things spoiler free. It moves shows more indoors when you have to keep secrets.
I'm in the fight of my life.
Really?
Not you, Richard.
And I think that that's true. But anyways, I thought that her commentary on, her marriage was very interesting, and I tend to agree with it. I think that it does take a lot of work, and she's right. Marriages should last, but everybody sees things as disposable now, including people. And people also don't want to put in the work. They expect things to be handed to them. And also with the rise of social media and dating apps, things are just very different. I mean, when she and Freddie Prinze Jr. first met and when they started dating apps weren't a thing. And society was just very different. So I'm interested to hear what you guys think of this. And that's it. I hope you guys have a good day. If you are in the eastern side of the country and you're getting the blizzard, we've gotten it here. We've got several inches of snow, and of course there's freezing rain. So just stay safe if you're in the blizzard, and I'll talk to you guys later. Whee!
We balance each other out. I'm a little crazy. He's a little saner. He always said I was way too mature and that he was a child, and we sort of met in the middle.